Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And Two Guys on Sports brought to us each and every week by All Motor Performance, Opelt Avenue, Neillsville, Braun Concrete and Excavating, Chili Implement, and Jeff Holthouse, State Farm Agent, Neillsville, Toma, and Marshfield. And before we go too much farther, we have a guest with us, a very important guest, as we'll be talking about Neillsville Girls basketball right now. And we welcome in the Division IV state champion coach, John Gaier. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here and happy to not be snowed in somewhere else.
It could have been a long stay in Green Bay.
I was glad that we beat the snowstorm home because I couldn't have taken another night trying to babysit teenage girls at a hotel, I can tell you.
Oh, well.
All right, so the state championship, you got it this year, 29-1. You finished on the season. Maybe just take us through the state tournament. First game you had, not as close as the championship game, but maybe just take us a little bit through that game that you had, that first one.
Well, I'll tell you, getting off to a quick start was huge. We got
Lamira. That's the team I was trying to think.
Lamira, right?
Yep.
I remembered.
Yeah.
They had one really dynamic scorer.
Yeah, Josie Christian.
Yeah, averaging
26
or 27 a game, and so we had to make sure that we were focused on her. But we also got off to a quick start. Tessa got off to a really great start offensively, and we hit some shots early, and I think our confidence kind of built from there. So it was off to a great start, and our kids were able to answer defensively. I thought our kids were really locked in. What was really cool about that game is I think we were the only team that probably played 14 kids on a state tournament floor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for those kids that do the work all year long, that don't always get the accolades, it is pretty cool to see them out on a state tournament court.
Any nervousness going in from the kids? I mean, they've never been on that floor before.
They tell me afterwards they were really nervous, but they don't admit they're nervous to me before the game, which I really appreciate because I didn't want to hear that.
If you look at them when they came out, though, they seemed fairly normal, and once the ball went up, I think it was business as usual.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking because it didn't look like they were nervous at all.
Yeah, they're a pretty resilient group. One of the things I tell them, though, is, look around the facility, and there's a lot of empty seats. Mm-hmm. This is still just basketball.
Right.
And when we go into games like that, we talk about really focus on doing the little things right. Mm-hmm. Make good stops. Make fakes before you pass the ball. Do the little things right. Get back on defense and get set. Focus on those things early, and then get into the flow of the game. And I think our kids do a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, you talk about setting the tone defensively. I thought the first two trips down with Tessa Warren blocking shots, I thought that it pretty much shut down the inside for Lamira the rest of the night. It forced them to play outside.
I think if you talk about why we were successful in both games in the tournament, we really controlled the paint between Tessa and Eden Marg and the other kids that came in and played. They did a great job. When you can out-rebound significantly the other team, and deflect shots inside and make it hard to score inside. Our whole system is trying to contest threes and not give up layups and free throws and make teams try to beat you with taking tough twos. That's kind of our defensive philosophy, and I think our kids stay pretty connected about that. I heard somebody texted me that a commentator says there are three assured things in life: death, taxes, and Gaier's defense. But it's not Gaier's defense. Gaier has an idea about defense, but the kids go out and do it, and all the credit goes to them.
Yeah. Were you? You had to be surprised with the way Tessa Warren came out and played. I mean, I don't think anybody really expected her to come out and hit threes and the mid-range jumpers.
Yeah. Well, Tessa's ceiling is so high.
Yes.
And so we've been pushing and pulling and prodding and hugging and doing everything we possibly can to get her to realize that. And when she came out and had success early, that is, the ceiling for her. She can be dynamic. I've talked a lot to her about needing to become a 3-level scorer because she can shoot the 3.
Yeah.
She can shoot the 2. Interestingly, at 6'2", it's around the basket where she hasn't been scoring a lot. But she decided to do that in the state tournament. That's a pretty good time to decide to do it, but her confidence got built up, and she became a 3-level scorer and really took it upon herself, I think, to go after every rebound.
In watching that game, you could tell she wanted the ball, too. She wanted the ball on every possession. She was ready, and
that was key. And they kind of played into our hands because she's a kid that's rare in high school basketball that can hit that little turnaround from the free throw line against zone.
Right.
And usually that's a shot that you have to give up if you play zone.
Yeah.
We defend it a little differently, but a lot of teams give you that. She can knock it down, and that's such a huge asset for us. And then when they start concentrating on her, the other kids open up.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say it, and it takes the pressure off girls like Braylon and Maddie Dable, and
opens
they don't have to worry about scoring as much when you got a girl like that.
Yeah,
stepping up.
One of the things I've talked about is that this is really the definition of a true team.
Yeah.
We've had different kids lead us in different categories all the time, and whenever we seem to need a play, it could be different kids stepping up and making them.
Well, I think you talk about the Myra game and go back to the Regis game in the sectional semifinals where Dable didn't score a lot, but she was part of holding down LMA Cooper to 8 points. I said that can take it out of you. You don't have a lot left to score. It's
we talk about make sure you're a smart fans player, where you're not one-dimensional, where you go out and you make positive plays at both ends. And positive plays isn't always scoring on offense. It's throwing the right pass. Layla Walks tied a record for the most assists. That kind of defines true team stuff.
Right.
And our kids are willing to do that. They put their egos aside, and they just play to win. And they got to the top of the mountain, and I couldn't be prouder of them.
You talk about the championship game now. Albany Monticello, of course, the defending Division 5 champion, coming in Division 4. Well, actually, not the defending. They won it a couple of years ago. But anyway, they were there. You had them in the first half, but then that second half, things kind of turned around a little bit there early on.
Well, we turned the ball over too much. One of the things I think, they credit our defense a lot, but I think a part of our ability to play great defense is we don't normally turn the ball over. We're pretty secure with the ball, and we weren't. I mean, they had some athletes out on that floor that really got after us and pressured us, and we didn't handle that well. And they were able to make some runs, even to the point where they got the lead. But I think what I was really proud of, and is a testament to this team, is they just refused to lose. They were not going to lose, and they scraped and scrapped and whatever they had to do to get back into it and get that lead. And
again, it was different kids.
Different kids all the time.
All the time that made the plays down the stretch. So.
Yeah, Braylon hit a big three there. Jess Kuhn hit the first two coming out of the half. And
made a great pass to Braylon underneath for a layup, too.
So. Great pass to Braylon. And actually, I don't know how she got the ball through to Eden Marg one time. There were two white jerseys standing between. It would either been a turnover or one of the greatest passes thrown in state history, and I'm glad it was the other one.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. But she got it there, and Eden finished it. So it was a great team effort.
Yep.
And I don't want to single anybody out because you talk about a team effort, but Eden Marg really stepped up the second half of the season on, and really in the tournament.
Yeah, she gained confidence all year long. We tried to simplify kind of what she does in the post, to not really think so much about it, but just catch and have two options. And so she used those options to go one way or the other pretty quickly. She's quick. She's quick off her feet. She's got good hands. She really spreads out when she posts up. She makes a big target for kids, and it's hard to find kids that just want to play hard in the post anymore.
And it was amazing from game one through the end. You could see her confidence grow every game, just tremendously, and towards the end. And I think that also, it kind of adds up to where your team really picked up a lot of steam too, was with her growth too. So
there was a switch that got hit. I don't know exactly when, but where we just kind of got locked in, and the kids really connected. And, I think a lot of credit goes to our senior leaders. We had 3 seniors this year, Jessica Kuhn, Emerson Orman, and Mercedes Bales. And those 3 were just really great, humble leaders. They were the ones that just said, forget the ego part. We'll do our part, you guys do your part, and we're just going to be a great team.
You watch Jessica and Emerson on the court, and it's like having 2 coaches out on the court. It really is. You can tell they are the leaders of the team out there. So.
Absolutely. We talk about, and they're not real dynamic. They're just glue guys.
Yeah.
They'll dive on the floor for loose ball. They'll take a charge. They'll go get a rebound when we need a rebound. And both of them hit some big threes for us on this whole tournament run. So kudos to them for being the leaders of this team and getting us where we finally were able to, what we were finally able to achieve.
I don't know if you like to compare or not, but how does this team compare to the first state championship team? What was that, 14 years ago now?
Yeah, it's been a while. But we had a Division I player, Division I collegiate player on that team.
Only a sophomore, but
a sophomore, but went
there.
back 2 more times even after that and got a silver even after that.
Yeah.
So I think the talent level of individuals were a little bit different. We were probably more dependent on a couple players instead of a group of players. So I think, but every team has got their own identity. One of the things that I hope is that I think this was my 24th year now with girls and 29th between boys and girls here in Neillsville. I don't want any of the kids that have ever played for me to think that they're not champions just because they didn't get a gold ball. Because I saw a sign up on the Jumbotron in Green Bay that said almost 490 girls teams started the season, and there's only 5 that win on Saturday.
Yeah, I said only 5 teams leave Saturday happy. Technically,
exactly, and that doesn't mean there's not other kids that just didn't play like champions all year. And I give
seen
credit
some
to
great
all of
games
them.
Thursday and Friday. That teams that went home, and it's.
Well, I've had teams that have gone home that were full of championship kids.
I
mean, championship character, championship work ethic. Just you need to be really good, and you need to have some luck. To get to the state tournament at all and to win it.
Only 20 teams go there out of 490, like you said.
Yep.
That's a low
rare
percentage. Well, again, congratulations, John, on the championship. Your second one here with Neillsville, and they're going to have a big celebration coming up tonight, 6 o'clock at the field house. The doors open at 5:45, so we hope that get a lot of people out there to celebrate this, because I know you've said it before, and I've heard it before, even with Super Bowl champions. You never know. You may not get back there again.
Well,
for a while.
I told our kids on Saturday that there's a lot of good, talented young kids on our team, but tomorrow's never guaranteed.
Right.
But we have today, which was Championship Saturday. So don't neglect this opportunity right now to get this one and to do the best you can. And
also you need to enjoy the moment also, too.
You got to enjoy the moment. And the other thing is, with the community turning out, I hope tonight, a very special thanks to you folks and to everybody else that supports these kids in their high school sports. And it's really neat for a community to be able to celebrate this. Everybody knows everybody, and it's pretty cool for communities our size to be able to crown a state champion in anything. And it brings a community together and gives us a lot to celebrate.
Absolutely.
You bet. All right, you can stick around here, John. We're going to talk more basketball. I don't know.
I'll learn anything I possibly can.
Lend us your knowledge, maybe here. Some other games that were on Saturday. Arrowhead beat top-seeded Wauwatosa East. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see that down there, but that was quite a game. Double overtime for the 50th anniversary down there. And Arrowhead actually, the second seed, beat top-seeded Wauwatosa East. I know a lot of people had Wauwatosa East as the winner, but Arrowhead played good.
Yeah,
that was a war. That Arrowhead kid, though, that's going to Minnesota
Uso.
is
Yeah.
special.
Yeah.
Ms. Basketball.
There's a reason why. She is very special.
What did they say? What did I see for the stats? 35 points. I think she
35
had?
points coming in there.
Yeah. That she had in that
Yeah,
championship.
we were at
game.
that.
Yeah.
We went to their first game and
Yeah.
got to see her live, and
Yeah.
she does it all.
Yeah. Very good player.
Yeah, and Tulsa was undefeated coming in that game. Of course, they were defending D2 champions.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah.
Instant classic there for that one.
and actually, the D2 game was too. Because Whitefish Bay had a pretty good lead, and they held on to beat Beaver Dam. Beaver Dam was down like 13 in the second half, and came all the way back, and Whitefish Bay was able to take them by 1.
64-63 in that
Yeah.
one. Oostburg won the Division III crown, beating Wisconsin Dells 64-37. I think Oostburg.
Oostburg was among the top teams
Yeah.
in the state of Wisconsin because, boy, they had right before the tournament they had given Spash a pretty good whooping, and boy, I'll tell you what.
Well, I know there are some people down in that area that are happy to see the Ketterhagen twins graduate, but they're going to see another Ketterhagen for
Yeah.
a couple of years
said,
that is
What-
going to
what is it
be
with the letter K down in
special.
that country? I said you got the Ketterhagens and girls, and you got the Knipples and the boys. and-
Yeah.
Those are some outstanding players.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Pacelli beating top-seeded Leva Strum. I was surprised, maybe not that they won, but how much they won
they
by.
really took it to them there in the second half. They just
Leva Strum was
Yeah.
unbeaten.
Leva Strum just did things they hadn't done all season, and when you have an undefeated, they haven't played much catch up, and you could tell that they really got out of sync there. So
Yeah, I think Leva Strum had been used to, with their pressure, they run a pressure zone out there, and I think they steal a lot of passes normally.
Yeah.
Pacelli was able to take care of the ball and get it inside, and I think that was pretty much the difference, because I think Leva Strum didn't get as many easies on turnovers
No.
that they normally would have gotten,
Right.
and they had to defend more in the paint, and I think that was a big part of that game.
I know you're looking at their coach on the sideline, and I think he was a little
I think he was stunned.
awestruck and not
think
like, what is going on here?
Yeah, he was.
Well, the bright lights can do that to you. I can
Yeah.
tell you that. The good news, I guess, for us, and I guess a credit to the kids is, you guys have broadcasted games too. That kids can't hear the coaches anyway.
No.
So the
Right.
decision making that these kids have to make on the run on their own, because we really can't help them much
Yeah.
in facilities like that.
Yeah, it's hard to
just
hear.
a credit to 15, 16, and 17-year-old girls who are making those decisions on the run on
One
their
thing
own.
is nice about you really get a lot of extra timeouts, don't you?
Oh, I like that. My assistant coach's job was to make sure that if I was thinking about taking a timeout right before that TV timeout, to just tackle me, so that we got to that TV
Yeah.
timeout.
I think there was like 3 or 4 extra timeouts.
Oh, easily. First half, was
I
4.
think every 4 minutes they took a
Yeah,
timeout.
15, 11,
Yeah,
7, something
yeah.
like that, and
Yeah.
3.
Getting back to Pacelli, though, Jaden, I think it's Stroik.
Triple double.
Yeah, 20 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Yeah.
She took over.
Yeah. And those 19 rebounds tied a division record, and the 10 assists set a division mark.
Somebody said
Division 5.
only the second triple-double ever in
Yeah,
a state
I
tournament.
forget
Oh, I
who the
believe
other
that.
one- I forget who the other one was by. I heard too, but I can't.
I believe that. that.
I think what was really cool about this tournament, obviously, is 50th year
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
the state tournament.
And some of those ladies came back that were in those
Yeah.
first games.
Yeah.
Well,
I
and they
tell-
brought back some of the coaches, like Al Gutman was out there.
winning as coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I was a junior in high school when the first tournament
Yeah.
started, and
Yeah.
girls basketball
Actually-
wasn't anything like it
No.
is
And
And
today.
actually, Owen Withy played in the first tournament in the Class C tournament.
Well, I believe that. Yeah.
So it is pretty cool to see that
Yeah.
we were wrong all those years thinking girls couldn't compete.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Definitely it can. That was a mistake back then. All right. So the girls tournament wraps up. Now we get into the boys tournament, the 110th boys state tournament, and it starts this afternoon with Seymour and St. Croix Central at 1:35, and then Lake Mills and Racine St. Catharines. Those are Division III semifinals. And then Division IV tonight, 6:35, Bonduelle against Cambridge. Cambridge making their first trip to state. Milwaukee Juneau, I was surprised they have never been there in
that's-
state.
that
They're a
is
really good
surprising.
team this
Yeah,
year.
they have one of the top players in the state, and Dooney Williams. He's a junior, averages about 27 a game.
Yeah.
I was surprised that they got the 2 seed, but then Bondwell had been there last year.
Okay.
And I think that probably gave him the edge on the seeds, though. So Regis got the luck of playing Juneau right off the bat. So
I heard the Regis coach talk about the kid.
yeah, he is very good. Very good.
All right, so that's later on today in boys basketball. And then tomorrow morning, the Division 5 state semifinals. And how about Reedsville taking on Sheboygan Lutheran at 9:05? Reedsville hasn't been to state in 80 years. 1946 was the last time. And they won the championship, and it was only one division then.
Yeah.
And they were only a town of 476 people. Yeah. That's kind of
Hoosiers.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Hoosiers.
Yeah, I just watched that movie, too, earlier in the week.
Should have been Reedsville all these years.
Yeah, it sounds just like what was the name of that town? There's your trivia question for today.
That is a good trivia
Come
question.
back to me.
I just watched the movie, and I still
I
can't
know it. I
remember
watch
what
it
it
all
was.
the time.
Yeah, anyway. Prentice will take
Hickory.
on
Hickory.
There you go.
The Hickory Huskers.
Should have been Reedsville.
Yeah.
Should have been Reedsville.
Prentice takes on Southwestern in the second game tomorrow.
Prentice, very
First
good.
appearance since 1999.
Very good team.
Yes.
Very good team.
Beat Marshfield Columbus.
Southwestern edged out Assumption in the sectional final.
Yes.
44 to 43. So.
Yeah.
I think it's just indicative of how hard it is to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Columbus will tell you how hard it is to get back.
Yeah. Prentice took out Columbus in the regional final and gave them a good hammer.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
Big and strong. They
Yeah.
are big and strong. So.
All right, the other semifinals tomorrow in Division 2. Slinger takes on McFarland at 1:35. Slinger is in the tournament for the first time in 49 years.
Okay.
Talking about taking a long time to get there. West Salem takes on Whitefish Bay in the second game in Division 2. Division 1, we talked about the Ketterhagen girls.
No,
You got the Knipples in Wisconsin Lutheran. And this team, Wisconsin Lutheran, at least my sons think, could beat some college teams.
Possibly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That the height and length that they have.
I mean, I don't think anybody in Wisconsin can beat them
Yeah.
in high school.
Well, I will tell you.
Never say never, but
Yeah.
The idea that they're only playing during the high school season, these kids are traveling all over the country
Well, yeah.
playing some real high-level AAU.
Oh, yeah.
You think about last year, though, Marshfield almost had him beat.
They did.
In the
They
state
did.
final
Yeah.
last year. So
But Marshfield's got a lot of length.
yeah, and they had a lot so, and they're playing Appleton North, who beat Marshfield in the sectional. So
And there's another team making their first trip to state,
Yeah.
Appleton North.
Well, I'll tell you what's key is which team controls tempo.
yeah,
Yeah.
You don't want to play the other team. If the other team is really good, you don't want to play at their pace.
No. De Pere takes on Madison Memorial in the other Division I semifinal tomorrow night. Madison Memorial, it's their 11th state appearance. Their first since 2017, but they made 9 straight state appearances from 2004 to 2012.
that was when Vander Blue played there. And then
okay.
Then he went on to play for Marquette. And,
Yeah.
And I think their coach might be retiring after this year. The Collins kid is.
Okay. Oh, Steve
thinking about
Collins.
Thinking about retiring.
he has
after this
been there a long, long
He's been
time.
there a long time. He was
He's
there
done
for
well.
the first 9.
Yeah.
He's done well. He's done very well. Let's see. De Pere, their first championship was the Class B title in 1934. They might have beat Neillsville.
Yeah.
I think
Neillsville was 22.
Oh, was that what the last time?
22, I heard.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I knew it was a long
I knew it
time
was
ago.
back then. I wasn't sure what year, but
So if Neillsville ever
I
makes
did not watch that game.
no.
So if Neillsville ever makes it to state in boys basketball, it'll be like 100 years since
Yeah.
they've been there.
Yeah. No.
Wow. Yeah. So there you go. 110th boys state basketball tournament getting underway later on this afternoon. Two Guys on Sports brought to you by All Motor Performance of Neillsville, Braun Concrete and Excavating, Chili Implement, and Jeff Holthouse, State Farm agent. I don't know if we had enough time to go through our brackets, but
We might as well give it a try.
well, let's just go with the let's go with your Elite Eight.
Okay.
I didn't even fill mine out, so I'm just going to
Okay,
guess.
I am going in the East with Duke and Michigan State.
I'm going to go Duke and UConn.
Okay. In the South, I have Florida and Illinois.
Florida and Illinois. Okay. I like that. I like that.
In West, I'm going with Arizona and Purdue.
I'm not convinced on Purdue yet. I'm going to go Gonzaga and Arizona.
Okay. And then in the Midwest, I'm going with Michigan and Virginia.
I like Iowa State. I don't know. I just like Iowa State.
Yeah,
Well, that Howard team, no, I'm not. If they upset Michigan, then
I'm okay.
yeah, I would go Michigan, and I like Iowa State.
Yeah, so I've got Florida beating Duke in the Final Four, and Arizona beating Michigan, and then Arizona beating Florida in the final.
You got Duke losing, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
I think
I couldn't pick Florida 2 years in a row, Larry. So
I think the WIA makes some pretty good money on their state tournament, but I think it pales in comparison to
Yeah.
the NCAA
Yeah, I heard.
men's tournament.
I heard $3.3 billion is going to be
I'm sure.
yeah, it's
bet
just-
on that tournament.
But you got, I said, John, that was the first time I'd ever been to the Rush Center. What a great atmosphere that was down there,
It
over
is
there. So
a wonderful, and
Yeah.
Green Bay really rolls out. The
They
carpet
really
for
do.
us.
They
it
really
is-
do.
It is really. They
And
do
I-
a great job.
And I said, the parking is so much nicer than in Madison, and it's just,
Yeah, you actually have a parking lot there.
so
Yeah, actually, 2012 when we
Yeah.
won it in 2012, it was the last time it
last
was
year
in
at
the
the Kohl
Kohl
Center. Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
There was a
That's
big.
right.
There was a big
Yeah.
argument about how the girls were being discriminated against by going to Green Bay, and I'm thinking. They asked me about it. I said, "Listen, if they hang two rims in a haymow, and they say it's a state
State
tournament,
tournament. We're
then we
going.
make it.
We're going. But Green Bay has took that by the neck and just gone with it. They have really put the dog on for the girls.
It is a perfect venue, and
Yeah.
they do a great job of hosting.
Yeah.
Hey, before I forget, we talked to one of your players who's going on to Division III, Luther College, where you went to school.
Correct.
Luther College in Iowa.
Yep.
Jessica Kuhn is going on,
Yep.
and I talked to her about moving on to the next level. All right, congratulations, first of all, on signing to Division III, Luther College. Maybe take us back. Why Luther College?
I feel like it's really hard to describe why I chose Luther, but it's the college that I can see myself being at for the next 4 years. It just felt like home. I love the coaches. I love the atmosphere, the players, the people there. Just kind of as soon as I stepped on campus and I got the feeling of campus, it just clicked with me. Yes, this is where I want to be. They're one of the top science schools in the nation, which is huge for me because I love science. I want to pursue that. And like I said, the coach is amazing, and she just kind of really clicked for me too.
How important was it coming through this Neillsville program? I know we've talked about the hardware with your dad here before this interview. 4 regional championships, sectionals, final here this year, the gold ball. How has all this prepared you now to go to this next level?
I feel like it's just taught me hard work pays off. So I feel like that's a huge thing. We've been working so hard for 4 years. We have 4 regionals, 1 sectional championship, gold ball, conference titles. I mean, but it's not just handed to us. We've worked hard, we've earned it. So I feel like that's the biggest thing it's taught me.
What do you look forward to now going to this next level?
Just learning more things, playing with new people, learning a new side of basketball because obviously she's a different coach. She coaches differently than my dad and Mr. Gaier do. So it's kind of going to be nice to expand a little bit with different knowledge.
What are you going in for now to college?
I'm going to be in the pre-dentistry program, so I'll major in biochemistry, and then after that I'll go on to dental schooling to be an orthodontist.
All right, well, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, that's Jessica Kuhn talking there, and you had some players go on.
Yep.
Jessica, not the first. Sydney Supke's up in Eau Claire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had Jennifer Linder went down to UW Milwaukee.
Yep, so it's-
Yeah, we've had quite a few kids that have been able to go on.
Yeah.
To me, at this point, I think
Paris,
Paris is at
Huntsville.
Alabama,
Yes.
Huntsville,
Doing
and
well,
they're in
too.
the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about
for
her.
D2 right
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
And
But
she's having a nice season too.
And she's having a great season down
Yeah.
there, doing really well. But one of the things I really love about high school basketball and now Division III, they are the last 2 real bastions of amateur sports.
Yeah.
Even Division II with
Yeah.
Paris, she's getting a full ride and getting,
Yeah,
getting
absolutely.
money for
Yeah.
going to play at D2 and D1
Yeah.
is with the NIL, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
And
is
even
out there.
D3, they're signing NILs. I said, back in the day, and
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The other thing I think people need to know is these are great student athletes.
Yeah, right.
Our kids are qualified for the state team academic award because these kids are just they're awesome. I talked about it. Jess's signing. She'll probably graduate summa cum laude, and I graduated summa cum lucky.
Yeah.
Back in the days, but, these kids are so bright.
Yeah.
They're a joy to have, and I will tell you that's part of the key of our success is we've got smart kids.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us,
Yes, John.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Time we
I
got.
appreciate it, and
Yep.
thanks for your support and the community's support.
You bet. Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you next week.